Megan.
I just want to verify that the evacuation capacity has reached the 5,000 to 9,000 goal. And I wanted to ask whether the limiting factor is the State Department's ability to process people or the ability of people to physically get inside the airport, as we understand they're lined up outside.
So let's talk first about the movement, the air capacity. Is set, and as I briefed a couple of times before, so that ability to air move up to 5,000 to 9,000 a day has been set and continues. As I think you've seen in the report today of the increased numbers, we continue to see the ability to build those ready to fly on Kabul Airport to increase, to allow us to fly those out with the ability to continue. Obviously, as Mr. Kirby said, we want that to continue to increase as we continue to bring more people, more American citizens, SIVs and those, onto the airfield so that they can be processed and ready to fly.
And have there been any requests from DoD officials to maybe expand the perimeter around the airport so that there's more of a safe zone for people while they're waiting in line? And if there have been, what was the Taliban's response to that?
So the commander on the ground, I think you've seen, is the airfield is secure. And every day in security operations, commanders are always what we can improving the security environment. So as the commander on the ground at every level finds those things that need to be improved to increase the security, to allow mission success, they're going to do those things that they have those authorities to do on a daily basis. So I think, as you saw today, the ability to continue State Department's ability to bring more people on and to continue those, that's what we will continue to look at over the next few days.
Do they have the ability to expand the perimeter around the airport?
Megan, I don't want to get ahead of where we are. The mission remains security at the airport and inside the perimeter of the airport, and that's what we're doing. There are, as we speak, there's no plans to expand beyond that, and I think we leave it at that. The other thing I want to just touch on your first question, what the general's talking about is capacity, and as I said from very early on, what we want to make sure is that airlift is not a limiting factor, and it hasn't been. That doesn't mean that at this point in time, every single seat on every single plane is going to be filled. We are working hard to get there, but we want to build out to that capacity, and we continue to do that. There are lots of factors that go into the throughput, including the situation out in town, including the checkpoints that the Taliban have set up, including processing at the gates where we have set up. And the general mentioned we've got now additional gates that are available to us. So that's helping flesh out some of this capacity. Weather is a factor. And, of course, security at the airport is a factor. And we are not taking either of those last two. Actually, we're not taking any of them, but we're certainly not taking weather or security at the airport for granted. It changes, every day. The security environment changes, and, of course, the weather. So there's lots of tick points on the way to the getting to throughput. What we want to make sure is that one limiting factor is not airlift capacity. And as the general said, we're confident that it is not now, and going forward it will not be. But that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be, that doesn't mean that you can, just because you have 5,000 seats, that you can automatically fill 5,000 seats every day. Now, that's what we want to get to. We want to, as the Secretary said, move as many people as fast and as safely as possible. But there's lots of steps in the process. Not all of them do we control, and we understand that.
Can I just ask one clarification on that? So are you saying that you're at that capacity right now, that with these flights, these 13 C-17s that have come in, you would have the capacity to take 5,000 people out in 24 hours right now, but you've only taken 2,000 out?
So, like I said, within the CENTCOM commander's capabilities and assets available, we have the appropriate air assets to fly the 5,000 to 9,000 a day. Depending upon the ability, meaning the queue, right, those ready to fly, we bring in assets to fly them out. So, yes, we have assets available throughout CENTCOM and available to reach those numbers today, and we have had those.
But you're not. But what's physically flying in right now in these 24 hours, is that enough? I mean, I guess we could do the math and see how many people could get on 13C.
But remember, it's not about the math. It's about what's ready to fly. You know, who's on the airfield, ready to leave a holding area and get on the aircraft. And as those numbers increase, which you've seen they have in the last 24, 48, the CENTCOM command team will continue to bring in the airflow required to fly out those people.